Mark Rogers TV not even waiting for Illinois to wrap up a horrible, horrible loss against Arizona State right now. Sun Devils lead at 35-7 in the third quarter to let you know that it was a bad, bad day in the Big Ten. Let's start with the two-time defending conference champion Wisconsin Badgers, also losing on the West Coast to Oregon State 10-7. Monte Ball with 60 yards rushing on 15 carries. Yes, Monte Ball should probably go back to Monty Ball. That worked much better. The Badgers could not move the ball. 206 yards of total offense. And this, of course, out of a prolific offensive team over the last few years. They've not been able to run the ball. Danny O'Brien, we did not expect to be Russell Wilson. But today, lackluster. 20 of 39, a $171, and a costly interception late in that football game. And this, for the defending champions, losing to a team that went 3-9 last season, lost at Wisconsin 35-0, and has been picked by most experts to finish last in the Pac-12 North Division. What's going wrong with Wisconsin? Well, it's mostly offense, but last week against Northern Iowa, a 26-21 squeaker of a win at home. And so there are problems all over the field for the Badgers. They did play pretty well defensively today, but again, the offensive production basically non-existent. The lowest yardage total for the Wisconsin program since 2007, and the Badgers' first non-conference loss since 2003, which pretty much shows you the type of non-conference opponents Wisconsin typically schedules. But it didn't matter today. 3-9 Oregon State from last season defeat Wisconsin 10-7. So maybe the Badgers are overrated. We knew going into this week, Michigan overrated. Actually, if you watch Mark Rogers TV, you know that Michigan overrated before the season started. Never anywhere close to the 8th best team in the country. Michigan follows up the loss to Bama 41-14 with a squeaker at home over Air Force 31-25. So again, this team is soft defensively against the run, have no special playmakers at wide receiver, and a poor passing quarterback. Yes, Denard Robinson racked up a great statistical game. 200-plus rushing, 200-plus passing, but he missed on a lot of easy throws again. And he could have hit on a throw that would have wrapped up this game late in the fourth quarter. Instead, he missed it and handed the ball again to the Falcons, who racked up 290 rushing yards against Michigan. Yeah, Air Force runs against just about everybody, but 290 against Michigan, and the Wolverines survived 31-25. They've got Notre Dame in 2 weeks. Speaking of Notre Dame, Purdue probably turned in the best effort in the Big Ten all day, and that was a loss, 20-17. A heartbreaker at Notre Dame on the final play of the game, 20-17. Could have been a huge win for this program and Danny Hope. Instead, just not enough offense for Purdue. They've got a lot of quarterbacks, really 4 of them, who have started games at Purdue, but none of them are really that good. Marv completed 11 of 18. Turbush was 8 of 19. The running game was non-existent, so this team is going to have difficulty scoring points against solid defenses, and Notre Dame certainly has a very solid front 7. But the defense at Purdue was outstanding in this game. Kawan Short up front was throwing guys all over the backfield for Notre Dame. He's a force. And Josh Johnson, defensive back, was all over the field making all sorts of plays. The secondary for Purdue is really good. So this sleeper team in the Big Ten, especially considering some of the production by the Big Ten through the first 2 weeks, Purdue could be really a sleeper in this conference after the performance at Notre Dame. But again, it's still a loss for the Big Ten, 20-17 there. Then we get to Iowa. Iowa, not a lot of expectations for the Hawkeyes this season, but still, this program much better than Iowa State, or at least it has been, but maybe not today and maybe not last year, because Iowa loses to Iowa State 9-6, and this coming just a week after Iowa slipped past Northern Illinois by 1 point. James Vandenberg, this guy stepped in against Ohio State with the Big Ten championship on the line as a freshman, and it looked like maybe he had a bright future. But Vandenberg has turned out to be a marginal quarterback. 22 incompletions today, and he threw the costly interception that could have pulled this victory out for Iowa. So the Hawkeyes lose to little brother 9-6. And then there's Nebraska, another ranked Big Ten team going down today. They go to UCLA and they lose 36-30. If you saw our preview here on Mark Rogers TV about Nebraska, you got our take on the Huskers coming in 16th ranked in the country, overrated, especially on defense. This defense was marginal last season, and they lost their 3 best defensive players. So what did we see today? All you need to know out of this football game defensively for the once black shirts, 94 snaps for UCLA, and they racked up 653 yards. And of course, Taylor Martinez took care of the football, and Nebraska mounted plenty of offense, but he threw a pick that cost Nebraska the game late, and the Huskers lose 36-30. So again, Illinois getting blasted right now by Arizona State. Iowa loses big. Nebraska, Michigan survives. And of course, the big loss on the day was Wisconsin. We don't expect much out of Penn State, so we don't note the loss at Virginia because the Nittany Lions actually played a pretty good football game, and if they had a kicker, would have won the game. They left 13 points on the foot of their place kicker. Horrible day in the Big Ten. Will the Big Ten bounce back? We would like to hear from you on the Big Ten and college football here on Mark Rogers TV.